A warm welcome to TBC News, our top stories. Tanzania and legacy of Artisari.
I was smiling when I was reminded that he came here as an ambassador at the age of 23. Our ambassadors were shaking her head.
Reportage with African emphasis.
Because AI, as much as it is disruptive, it can improve efficiency within journalism.
Good evening, I am Teddy Mparanyanga. You can also follow us live on our YouTube channel, TBC Online, and also get all the latest news through Instagram, Facebook, and X pages at TBC Online. President President Stub of Finland says Tanzania has played a unique role in shaping the legacy of the late Finnish President Martti Ahtisaari, who began his diplomatic career in Tanzania. He says this early experience on the African continent laid a foundation for his lifelong commitment to international diplomacy and peace building. Throughout his career, Ahtisaari played a key role in peace processes across the globe, from Namibia and Kosovo to Indonesia. And he always had a special connection to Tanzania. Ivan Gaga reports.
The second day of President Alexander Stubb's visit is marked by two major events. First, the Martti Ahtisaari Legacy Seminar, whereby diplomats, government leaders, and other stakeholders discuss the 60 years of the evolving diplomatic ties between Tanzania and Finland, but also the long-standing legacy of the late former president in peace-building processes.
For us, Martti's career actually began here. I was smiling when I was reminded that he came here as an ambassador at the age of 23. Our ambassadors were shaking her head, thinking, how is that possible? But it is an amazing time, and I think the reason it was so formative for Martti was that he developed strong relationships of trust with so many independents movements and their leaders, of course, including SWAPO from Namibia.
We are very glad that you picked the United Republic of Tanzania as one of the key countries to cooperate on the whole also peace process. And in your speech, Your Excellency President Alexander Stub, you made it very, very clear on our future cooperation yesterday when you were at the State House.
Furthermore, some Tanzanian diplomats who participated in the event elaborate the significance and history of the 6 decades of diplomatic ties between Tanzania and Finland.
Tanzania has had diplomatic relations for 60 years with Finland. We work very closely in many fields, but this one area where we really wanted us, especially the youth, to really understand how do you achieve peace? What are the values? What are the principles?
Role and the work which President Martti Ahtisaari did, the foundation stone was laid here in Tanzania because he came here as a young ambassador at the age of he was very young at the time when he came. He was under 30, and that made President Ahtisaari into what he became much later as a negotiator, because he was involved with the Namibian independence. He was meeting the people from Namibia, SWAPO at that time here, discussing how to help them, and finally in Namibia became independent.
Tanzania and Finland has been related for many years. We have established a relationship for 60 years now, and this relationship was established in political, economic and development issues. In political, particularly, we were actually forefront looking forward to the liberation of Southern Africa. But in terms of development, sectors like forestry, sector like agriculture, sector like industry, particularly the agricultural agro-industry, we have been working together with Finland for many years. We have also had a relationship in inter-university cooperation, where a number of researchers from Tanzania have been applying to Finland to have advanced education up to PhD.
President Stub also attended Innovation Week Tanzania and gave a keynote address on global innovation events and impact on Africa and Europe. He also launched Fungo's Green Catalyst call for funding. Gaga, TBC News, Dar es Salaam.
President Stub of Finland has described his state visit to Tanzania as a remarkable experience marked by warm hospitality since his arrival for a 3-day state visit. Speaking in an exclusive interview with the Director General of Tanzania Broadcasting Corporation, Dr. Ayub Rioba, President Stub shared his impressions of his first visit to Tanzania as the two nations commemorate 60 years of diplomatic relations and development cooperation.
Well, warmth, hospitality, friendship. It's lovely to be in Tanzania. I think we have a strong identity link through President Martti Ahtisaari, who was an ambassador here from 1973 to 1977. I think we've had cooperation for over 60 years.
Yes.
So it's really nice to come back here, and it's been a very warm welcome at the airport, at the State House, in different types of seminars. So I've really enjoyed my time here so far.
Anything Tanzania can probably pick a leaf from Finland? I mean, Finland's experience, of course, we are different. You are in Europe and we are here. But we've had cooperation for 60 years.
Yeah, I think integration and cooperation is a good starting point. And that's what you do, you know. You do it in SADC, you do it in the EAC. You have good partnership and relationship with countries like Kenya. So if you sort of integrate the economies, I think that's a good starting point. And secondly, you know, I repeat, you have to give an individual power and autonomy to decide. Because if you live in a hierarchical society, then people will not have the courage to do stuff. And I think that's a good starting point.
My last question to you. You've been here since yesterday, and you've had several engagements, including meeting with President Samia Suluhu Hassan. Your message, and also, of course, about the future of our cooperation.
Well, the message is a positive one and an optimistic one. On a macro scale, it is take agency. You have power. You are the future of the world. You know, the African continent is going to go from 1 billion to 4 billion people. You have a demographic curve which us up in the north can only envy about. Use that. Second, cooperate as much as you possibly can with your neighbors in the region and globally. And I think we'll see a world which is in a much better place in the next decade.
Tanzania and Finland continue to strengthen their long-lasting partnership through cooperation in key sectors like education, forestry, tax reform, as well as trade and economic development, a reflection of 6 decades of enduring diplomatic ties. The Minister of Natural Resources and Tourism, Ambassador Pindi Chana, says Tanzania aims to build partnership with Finnish museums in the area of conservation of archaeological sites, especially in the area of research using modern technologies. She made the remarks in Dar es Salaam while accompanying Finnish President Alexander Stub on his visit to the National Museum in Dar es Salaam.
Key areas where we see strong potential for cooperation, Your Excellency, are as follows. Development of joint capacity building program to empower heritage professionals between our two countries. Further, Your Excellency, establishment of partnerships to advance mobile museum initiatives, bringing history to communities beyond traditional museum walls.
For his part, the Finnish President Alexander Stub said he was pleased with the archaeological sites preserved, stating that Finland and Tanzania have similar histories, which make these two nations continue to have good relations.
Heard the evolution of mankind, I now come to the conclusion that I now know where I'm from. The good thing with Finland and Tanzania is that we've had friendly relations ever since your independence. And you know what? Our independence isn't much longer. We gained ours in 1917 and you in the 1960s. And I think we understand each other in so many ways when we look at each other's path to independence. For many nations it was difficult and violent, and in Finland we understand that this affects people.
President Stub had the opportunity to learn on various archaeological sites preserved in the museum, including the evolution of man, the history of Tanzania since colonial times, the technologies used by man and slave caravans. And on the other news, the First Lady of Zanzibar and Chairperson of the Board of Trustees of Zanzibar Maisha Bora Foundation, Mariam Mui, says that the foundation is ready to work with Finland in efforts to protect women and children from discriminative and abusive acts. Mariam Mui made the remarks in Zanzibar when she held talks with Finland's First Lady, President Stub, who visited the foundation's office.
Very, very happy and honored. Welcome to Zanzibar. Zanzibar Maisha Bora Foundation, we have spoken in a nutshell, and you have seen what we are doing. So I'm taking also this opportunity to say we are really asking for your partnership, cooperation, support from Finland. We are really looking forward to that, as we have also heard that almost the areas that Zanzibar Maisha Bora Foundation is dealing with are the areas that the Finnish government also supports.
On her part, First Lady of Finland, President Stub, says she is pleased with the good bilateral relations between Tanzania and Finland.
I didn't know that Zanzibar was so advanced in seaweed farming, and I'm very happy to have an example now to take back to Finland with me. But on the other issues that you're working with, the reduction of maternal health, the improvement of child health, the menstrual products, the anti-GBV work that you're doing. I think it's tremendous work that you're doing, and I know that Finland and Tanzania have had worked together for over 50 years, and we are keen sponsors through UNFPA of work in this area, and I'm sure that collaboration will continue for a long time.
Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Energy, Dr. Doto Biteko, has visited the Parliament of Morocco as part of his official working visit to the country. While at the Parliament, Dr. Biteko held talks with the Speaker, Honorable Rachid Talbi El Alami, and the Deputy Speaker, Honorable Laken Haddad, at the Parliament offices in Rabat, Morocco. Among other issues they discussed was the best ways to strengthen the relationship and cooperation between the two countries, especially in the sectors of energy, agriculture, industry, and trade. On to the next news. The Minister of State in the Vice President's Office, Union and Environment, Hamad Masauni, accompanied by the Tanzanian delegation, has held talks with the Director General of the Norwegian Development Agency, NORAD, Bad Vega Solgel, to strengthen relations in addressing climate change. Here are more details with Kanki Magumole.
The Norwegian Development Agency has contributed significantly to the availability of renewable energy and rural electrification, and NORAD's cooperation has been important in developing community lives, environmental awareness, and institutional capacity. Earlier today, the Minister of State in the Vice President's Office, Engineer Masauni, held talks with NORAD Director General, Mr. Solskjaer, where he thanked the Norwegian government and the institution for its great contribution in supporting Tanzania's development agenda. On the other hand, Mr. Solskjaer commended the government of the United Republic of Tanzania for its various efforts to address climate change, including the official establishment of the National Carbon Monitoring Center, which was officially established in accordance with the law in February 2025. Kanki Mwaigomole, TBC News.
The president of the Southern Africa Broadcasting Association, SABA, Stanley Similo, has called on journalists from public media outlets in SADC member countries to report on various projects being implemented by member states with an emphasis on African traditions and customs. More details with Ismail Bugada.
In South Africa, journalists and public media executives are being trained on various topics, including the use of artificial intelligence. A study conducted by the Namibia Media Trust revealed that 84% of journalists from Malawi, Namibia, and Zimbabwe use artificial intelligence in their reporting, but only 24% have received proper training on how to use it effectively. Peter Denk, a head of news and current affairs at the Namibian Broadcasting Corporation and a trainer in the program, explained how to use artificial intelligence responsibly without compromising human values.
What we are saying is that use the good and leave out the bad of AI, because AI, as much as it is disruptive, it can improve efficiency within journalism. It can improve quality within journalism, because where you would have had mundane tasks, like, for instance, transcription, doing background research, and so on, you could leave that up to AI, and then a reporter or a producer can then concentrate on doing much better quality work.
Beneficiaries emphasize that the core principle of journalism must be upheld despite the rise of technologies such as artificial intelligence.
We're living in an artificial intelligence era where we have to embrace the ever-changing landscape of journalism. But having said that, we are also reminded that while we embrace it, we also have to take ethical considerations into place.
Journalism, it is very important. You see now that with the advent of AI, even some stories are written from scratch using AI. Now that brings new challenges, new dynamics into our newsrooms. We have to be aware of these issues. We have to know how to use AI properly so that it enhances our work rather than compromises the quality, the ethics of journalism.
This one, Asante Sande. Asante Sande, Tanzania. Yes, of course, that one.
SABA President Stanley Similo says journalists in public media must report the positive developments in their countries transparently.
These are all done to make sure that how we sort of like present Africa is done in a manner that will give respect, that will also give a true reflection of what's happening on the continent. So we are happy with this. The others can report whatever they would want to, but we will come in and tell our stories exactly in the fashion that we believe they should. And I must say, as president of SABA, I think the teams have been doing quite very well, because Iron SADC, particularly the television news program, is a very popular one currently.
The two-day seminar empowered African journalists to present accurate and balanced news about Africa on international platforms that often misrepresent the continent. Reporting from South Africa, Ismail Bugda, TBC News.
23 countries, including Tanzania, jointly submitted a draft resolution proposing the restoration of the lawful rights of the People's Republic of China during the 26th session of the United Nations General Assembly in 1971. Kankiwa Gumola has prepared the following feature.
At a recent media briefing in Dar es Salaam, the Chinese ambassador to Tanzania, Ambassador Zheng Mijang, delivered a firm and pointed message. United Nations General Assembly Resolution 2758 is unshakable, and the One China principle must be upheld. In case you thought this was all about East Asia and the West, the ambassador devoted special attention to Tanzania, a longtime ally and one of the co-sponsors of the Resolution 2758. She praised Tanzania's role, especially that of Ambassador Dr. Salim Ahmed Salim, who not only advocated for China's rightful seat in the UN, but also helped draft and refine Resolution 2758. China has not forgotten this support, and the sentiment is mutual for the historic Tazara Railway to the ongoing development projects. The two countries have forged what Ambassador Cheng called a brotherhood. With the 50th anniversary of Tazara's completion, Ambassador Mijang says China continues to work with Tanzania as true brothers and partners in implementing the important consensus reached by the two heads of state, deepen political mutual trust, strengthen the exchanges and cooperation, support each other with regards to core interests and major concerns, and build a closer China-Tanzanian community with a shared future. Kanki Mwaigumole, TBC News.
Before concluding the local news tonight, let us take a look at today's exchange rates according to the Bank of Tanzania BOT. Don't miss TBC News every weekday to know all the latest in exchange rates. Time now for all the latest in international news. And here is international news as prepared by Nyambona Masamba.
International news starts at The Hague. The International Criminal Court is under fire and under pressure since the United States President Donald Trump imposed sanctions at its chief prosecutor campaign in February. The head of this court has reported struggled to operate. Khan lost access to his emails and bank accounts. American staffs have been warned they could be arrested if they return home. Some human rights groups, they even won't respond to the court's emails. The sanctions came after ICC judges issued arrest warrant for Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his former defense minister Yoav Gallant. They're accused of possible war crimes in Gaza, charges which Israel denies. Show of the court's actions lacks its legitimacy. His executive order bans come from the U.S. soil and threaten penalties for anyone who provides him for financial, material, or technological support. The financial arm freezing not only finances but investigations, including a major genocide in Sudan. Staff say sanctions are made it difficult to conduct the basic tasks led by long justice for victims of war crimes. The fate of the court operations is in jeopardy amid whining spots from the traditional stage alert. To Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky has arrived in Turkey and has met with President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. After touching down on the tarmac, Zelensky said Ukraine won't commit to any talks what he calls a decorative Russian delegation. He said the last level of Russian delegation is not known official to me, but from what we see, it looks like it is more decorative level. We'll think about what we'll do next after talks with President Erdogan. We need to understand what kind of level the Russian delegation is at and what mandate they have, whether they can make any decisions, because we all know what makes decisions in Russia. At earlier meeting of NATO foreign ministers, Mark Rutte said he is hopeful that the breakthrough between Ukraine and Russia can still be achieved. From Europe to the Gulf, U.S. President Donald Trump has departed Qatar from United Arab Emirates after visiting American troops at the Al Udeid military base. Trump said Qatar will be investing $10 billion in the coming years in Al Udeid, which is the largest U.S. military facility in the Middle East. The base houses more than 10,000 troops and is the biggest U.S. military facility in the region. He also said at the time U.S. have made a defense purchase deal worth $42 million. Earlier, Trump met Qatar American business leaders. President Trump had trade agreements signed between the U.S. and Qatar. He also praised Qatar for effort in negotiations to Iran on nuclear deal. And Trump said he wants to negotiate with Iran and see the country reintegrated into a global trade system.
That was international news. Sports news up next. Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Information, Culture, Arts and Sports, Gerson Msigwa, says Benjamin Mkapa Stadium is ready and can be used to host international matches like the CAF Confederation Cup final second leg. Msigwa added that the stadium has been well renovated compared to the previous time, especially the drainage system, but they are not responsible to choose the stadium where the match can be played. The renovation of the Benjamin Mkapa Stadium in rooms has been reaching 80%, while the pitch is ready completed for 100%, abiding to CAF direction, and is ready to host big matches like CAF Confederation Cup Final second leg, Simba Sports Club and RS Berkane. That is sports news, and now before we conclude the news bulletin for tonight, let's take a look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours.
I'm Godfrey Kazinja. I present to you 24 weather forecast from Tanzania Meteorological Authority. Average wind speed expected over some part of our country, except over the coastal area. Wind expected to flow at the speed of 40 km per hour. And TMA issue an advisory of expecting strong winds reaching 40 km per hour. Please take note on that. Scarcity of rainfall signal over the most part of our country, and tonight we expect future particular conditions, thunderstorm over Furia over the Lake Victoria Basin. Northern Eastern Highland expect future light rain shower over Furia, while Tanga, Unguja and Pemba Ise together with the Dar es Salaam and Pwani expect future rain shower over Furia. The rest part of our country expect future particular condition. For tomorrow we expect future particular condition, thunder shower over Furia and sun period over the Lake Victoria Basin together with Kigoma region, while the coastal region together with Morogoro region expect future rain shower over Furia and sun period. The rest part of our country expect future particular condition and long sun period. Let's have a look for the 4 days weather forecast for some part of our country, starting from the day after tomorrow. Dar es Salaam for 19th and 20th expect future thunder shower. Dodoma expect future particular condition and long sun period. Mbeya expect future particular condition and long sun period. Mwanza expect future particular condition and long sun period, while Kilimanjaro expect future rain shower for 19th and 20th. Morogoro expect future thunder shower for 19th and 20th, while Arusha expect future rain shower for 19th and 20th. Dear viewer, we thank you for watching us and have a good time.
And that marks the end of the news bulletin for tonight. Do not miss our next bulletin in Kiswahili at 11 p.m. On behalf of the whole team, I am Teddy Branyanga. Have a lovely, lovely night.